is Tuesday, June 1st. In the news this morning, appointed by default, Iraq names its new president. Digging out from piles of twisted wreckage, the destructive path of the latest deadly storms. And a year and a half after the murder of his pregnant wife, Scott Peterson gets his day in court.
From ABC News, this is World News This Morning. Now from our world headquarters in New York, here's David Muir.
Good morning. Iraq now has a new head of state appointed this morning after days of political wrangling. And in a surprise twist, the post went to a second choice after the U.S. favored candidate turned it down. ABC's Stephanie Sy joins us now live from Baghdad with these late developments. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning, David. UN envoy Lakhdar Brahimi has now announced that Ghazi al-Yawar will be Iraq's interim president. This after a political roller coaster this morning. The U.S. favorite Adnan Pachachi was the first pick, but he apparently turned the position down. Al-Yawar will now be the interim president. He is the current Iraqi Governing Council president. He is from Mosul, and he is best known for having the favor of most of the IGC members in this, David. He has just disagreed with the U.S. on some of its terms for the transfer of sovereignty. He has clearly said that he wants the presidency to be more than just a ceremonial position, that he wants to have power in this position, which was not part of the original plan. The prime minister was supposed to have most of the power in this interim government, and Iyad Alawi was picked last week. Now, Al-Yawar is also an interesting figure because he has said that he agrees that multinational forces need to stay in Iraq for short-term security. However, he believes that Iraqis should be the ones to tell them when to leave. David?
Stephanie, are we getting any indication as to why Adnan Pachachi has turned this down?
Well, it has been reported through one of his aides that Adnan Pachachi was sorry for all the controversy that surrounded this decision, and that basically he stepped down so that Al-Yawar could have this position. He is holding a press conference this morning in Baghdad, so we hope to learn more soon.
Okay, more on our later broadcast today. Stephanie Sy in Baghdad, thank you. And for at least the fourth time in a month, the largest city in Pakistan was the target of a terrorist attack. A large bomb exploded inside a Shiite Muslim mosque in Karachi during evening prayers last night. At least 16 people were killed. Pakistani officials say the attack could have been retaliation for the earlier murder of a Sunni Muslim leader. Saudi Arabia continues to search for some suspected al-Qaeda members responsible for the attack and hostage-taking at its main oil hub. And even though the Saudis tried to assure the world that they are in control, oil prices are on the rise. ABC's David Curley with that story.
It was the second attack in a month on Saudi oil facilities. This time, 22 were killed.
Like a war zone.
It's believed the attackers wanted to send a message.
It gives the impression to the market that there might be a cut-off of oil supply from Saudi Arabia. That is really very worrying.
The worry was seen in the first trade of the day after the attack. Crude oil prices jumped 1.5% to more than $40 a barrel again. The attack won't physically cut Saudi production 1 barrel, but psychologically there is an impact.
We have to understand that although there are 24 million people in Saudi Arabia, it has some 5 million or more foreign workers. Its economy is very dependent on these workers.
The unease in world markets comes as the summer driving season in the U.S. kicked off this Memorial Day weekend. But the rising prices at home are mostly due to a 3% increase in gasoline use and no increase in domestic refining capacity in the past 3 decades. And nature may send prices even higher. The hurricane season starts today, and it's expected to be busy. Violent storms could shut down offshore pumping rigs and the refineries around the Gulf of Mexico. Houston refineries alone account for 12% of the gasoline produced in the U.S. Because of those refining shortages, experts say gas prices may increase even if oil prices remain steady. An example, since December, oil has increased 24 cents a gallon, while gasoline has jumped 50 cents a gallon. And the 3 largest refiners reported huge gains in profits the first 3 months of this year. David?
All right, our thanks to ABC's David Curley in our Washington bureau this morning. The weather system that brought damage to the plains and Midwest and then eastward seems to be calming. Yesterday there were 5 tornadoes, far fewer than the days prior. And still for many Americans, this Memorial Day weekend will be remembered for its twisters. Here's ABC's Eric Hong. Across the Midwest, residents are cleaning up following a second consecutive weekend of violent weather. The storm spawned at least 180 tornadoes from Oklahoma to Ohio, knocking out power to hundreds of thousands of people and leveling scores of homes.
It's just a disaster. Our house is upside down. Our living room's blocks away. Couches in between somebody else's trailer. It's devastating.
In Indianapolis, residents of this heavily damaged nursing home say it's a miracle nobody here was seriously injured. A tornado sent the roof crashing in on the dining room, just minutes after dozens of elderly residents had left following dinner. Down the block, neighbors say the storm hurled debris in a surreal display of power.
Looks just like the Wizard of Oz, all that stuff flying around, and except I never did see the houses or the Wicked Witch on the bicycle.
Farther south in Marengo, Indiana, many of the town's 800 residents are now homeless. Winds clocked at nearly 160 miles per hour turned dozens of homes inside out and rendered entire residential blocks unrecognizable.
The way it was scattered out, we have no idea where anything is at this point.
The storm's deadly reach extended into Missouri. At least 3 people were killed and 8 injured in the town of Weatherby. Residents there now forced to burn debris to clear the way for salvage crews. More than 400 twisters have hit the Midwest in the last 10 days. And experts say this year's tornado season could go down as one of the most active ever. Eric Hong, ABC News, Indianapolis.
And now for today's weather, clouds, rain, showers, and some thunderstorms over much of the eastern half of the country. Any tornadoes should be weak and limited to the deep south and southern plains. We look at temperatures now. Most areas will be seasonable. There's going to be a difference of nearly 50 degrees between chilly New England and hot Arizona. That's the national outlook. Now to the weather where you are.
This morning's weather brought to you by Royal Caribbean. Business news is coming up next. Stay with us.